Hi guys, this is Shantan from Motors to Motherboards. Uh, you guys might be wondering why my bike is stripped of all its accessories and in its stock form. Well, that's a story for another day. Right now, I think it's a good time to do a user review of this particular motorcycle, the TVS Ronin. Uh, I have 2 years, 5 months, and some 70,000 kilometers on this particular motorcycle. So I think I'm in a good place to share the particular use case and efficacies of this particular motorcycle. So without wasting much time, let's get into it. First of all, I have a good community of friends who have helped me write down some points which I think will be a good to share with you guys. So let me just quickly pull that out. I'm just fly, so kindly bear with me. This is not a scripted video of any means. I have not written down the points. Some points have been just suggested to me, so I'm just speaking on them as they come into my head. So please bear with me. Let's first of all talk about who is this bike for. Let's just say this is not a bike which will excite you, at least not after you're used to it. This is a very beginner friendly bike, as in such people who are upgrading from, let's say, scooters or any let's say non-geared motorcycle or a cycle, or maybe like a beginner who has not much experience driving a motorcycle. This is the perfect getaway to step into the world of motorcycles, and then it will take you a few steps further. Why? Because first of all, the tractable nature of this engine, and as because the clutch and the gear of this motorcycle is extremely light, so you can be a wrong gear or two gear and it will not stall upon you. Second of all, it's lightweight, it's flicky, the seat height is low, 790 mm, so most people can easily flat foot it. And then when you can see you are getting into the space of the motorcycling culture, this will take you 3-4 steps more the way, and this can be a very good entry level tourer. As because I can say this because I have toured with it almost extensively, but more on that later. So again, I will say this is a very beginner friendly motorcycle, and people who have no experience of riding the bike can pick this bike with their eyes closed because of its weight management, because of its forgiving nature. Most of all, it will extend its hands to you and say, "Ki, come on, this is a journey and both of us are on this together." Now, this bike basically is mostly chosen by people who are, let's say, working professionals or have, a bit of calm sort of nature attributed to them. As because, see, if you're not into street nakeds, you're into classics. And this, I think, has a very classic design with the round headlamp and the raised handlebars and everything. So it's a very calm natured motorcycle. So people, and also with the flat seat and everything, people, family oriented people generally prefer this, or maybe something like the REs, 350s and things like that. So now let's talk about one of the most important selling points of this particular engine, which is this 225cc engine of the TVS Ronin. See, this engine may not be tuned for high speed performance. It's hot. This engine might not be tuned for high speed performance, but as because it's a square engine with equal dimensions of bore and stroke, so the power band is, the torque curve basically is flat throughout, and you get an equal amount of power all throughout. There is, like, the low end is not flat and the top end is not too high. Like, you cannot expect an excellent top end performance like the screamers, like the 130s, 40s, but this has very good healthy amount of low end torque, low and mid range torque, and a decent amount of top end. Mind you, this is not the bike that you get if you think you will be cruising at very high speeds. This is a very settled bike. It will give you good power all throughout the power range, but it will not give you excellent top speed performance. Like, it will struggle after 110. It can reach up to 120, 130, but that is after much prodding. So temper your expectations. Excellent low end, good mid end, and lackluster top end, I would say. Another thing that needs to be said is the excellent suspension, the USD suspensions and the monoshock in the rear, which is adjustable for preload to 7 steps, be it soft, be it hard, whichever. This suspension and torque, like, it makes tourers out of commuters. Like, basically, if your main concern is going from point A to point B, And then when you take it on the high roads or take it to the mountains, you will be decently surprised as how good this performs. Many people I've seen them saying this is not good for the highways, this is not good for mountains, you cannot tour with this. I will say no, discount that particular statement. That is absolutely not true. With this bike you can tour in the highways comfortably in the 90 to 105 speed range all day, because I have done it myself. And also in the mountains, like where other bikes will need you to put on the first gear, this can do its duty in the second and the third gear, because the low end torque comes in at a very low rpm range, at around, if I'm not wrong, 3750 rpm. So you do not have to finick much with the clutch and the gear, and you can just, it will function as an automatic motorcycle. You can just throttle it and it will go. You do not have to much. You just trust this bike and it will take you wherever you want to go. The low end performance of this motorcycle is also what makes it a very good off-roader, but it is limited by the suspensions, of course. But this engine has all the characters of a good off-roader, like the low end torque. You can, just throttle it out when you need be, and it picks up speed very quickly in the first, second and third gears. So if TVS is listening or watching this particular video, put a 19-inch wheel on it at least, give it some more suspension travel, 190 mm, and watch it rip, watch it eat up market shares of the X-Pulse and whatnot. Another thing I must say, when this bike came out, there was not much support for it, not much information was available, the service centers were clueless, and people from all over were having all kinds of problems. So me and a few other like-minded friends got together to create a community of sorts of Ronin riders, so that we can, share our problems, talk with them. And then at this particular moment, right now, we are 350 plus people strong. We have a community called the Ronin Warriors of Bengal. I will share their like the Instagram page, Facebook page and whatnot in the description box down below. And we have a pretty good community going right now. And as because when you meet people who are on the same bike, on the same platform, probably have the same kind of problems, there is a certain kind of bond that comes with that particular shared shared pain, shared issue, shared motorcycle, whatever. We share with each other our mod ideas, like what modifications we can do, what problems we are facing. So this has helped build a community from out of nowhere, and has brought together a group of unlikely people who probably would have never been friends if this bike did not existed. So I will be very thankful for the Ronin to this particular state for this particular thing. So let's quickly talk about the mileage of this particular motorcycle. The mileage of this motorcycle will surprise you, as in it will range from highs to the lows. I have gotten as low as 33, 35 from this particular motorcycle, and I have got as high as 52 from the same motorcycle itself. This all depends on your riding conditions, your braking style, your clutch and gear usage, also the speeds. So as I was saying, when I got the 52 mileage, I had some engine work done, so I was forced to keep my speed around the 60-70 limit, and I had 10 liters of fuel filled, and I got around 528 kilometers of range from a full tank. So 52.8, it's unbelievable, I know, but that is what I've got. People in my group, the group Ronin Warriors of Bengal, have claimed to even got even more mileage, but I do not know how much truth in that statement, as because I can only ascertain from what I have got. The lowest of low mileage I have got was when I was cruising in the highway at around 110 to 120 speeds continuously. The road was smooth, tarmac, and it was like pretty good going. The bike was not struggling. There was a bit of vibration, true, but other than that, there was not much issue faced, but the mileage was pretty low. I got around 33 to 35. Also, regarding maintenance, this does not need as much as maintenance as other bikes of its segment. You just have to take it for the regular oil change in the 4,000, 5,000 kilometer, and get your brakes checked and everything, and that's all. That's all that it needs. Also, speaking of maintenance cost, this motorcycle is something which does not need that much looking after. You just have to do the regular oil change at around 4,000, 5,000 kilometer intervals. TVS does suggest that to be 6,000 kilometers, but I have personally found changing it in that 4,000, 5,000 kilometer mark is more helpful. You can just, it helps the engine perform a bit smoother, because the TVS True 4 oil, the stock oil that TVS gives in this particular motorcycle, it starts losing its refinement after that 3,500 to 4,000 kilometer mark. You can push it for another 500,000 kilometers, but I would suggest to get it changed as quick as possible. Then the regular brake pads and everything, it's pretty cheap. The brake pads are about 300 to 400, and other changes, it's basically, as I was saying, it's not a very expensive motorcycle to maintain. The normal service costs are about 1400 in the free service period, and when you are doing paid service, it will be around 2500 if you do not have any other extra work that needs to be done, like for say a tappet adjustment, or let's say a timing change or fork oil change. It will not be very expensive, or it will break the bank. So now let's talk about another elephant in the room, is this, the design. See, I know that this evokes a mixed statement from most people, from most reviews that I've seen online. People say that they cannot make head and tail of the statement. While I agree with some of that sentiment, I will say, I will not say this is an ugly motorcycle, as because look at it, like it screams premium from every angle, be it the paint scheme, the USDs, the finish, the monoshock, the fenders. Granted, the design is a bit like not so very cohesive, I would say, but the same thing has been, I think, has been taken care of in the 2025 variant, because the TVS people have listened to our feedbacks, and they have made some certain changes also to it. And also, I will say that this is a bike which is chosen, I have seen in my personal experience, chosen by people who are artists, like they say an actor, a musician, a singer. I do not know. There is something about this bike in which you can modify it to your own needs and extents. Like, as you have seen mine, I have made mine into a scrambler-ish kind of vibe. Right now it's stopped. But people who have that artistic nature in them, this I think can be a very good canvas, and you can modify it according to what you need. We have seen the same thing in like the various TVS custom motorcycles that has been showcased in Motosoul. Like there is a scrambler, there is a bobber, there is a cafe racer and whatnot. You can make it whatever you want it to be. Quickly summing up the good points that I like of this motorcycle. First one is, this is very beginner friendly. People who are coming from two-wheelers and whatnot, this is a very good platform to get in the motorcycle world. A very tractable engine, light gear and clutch, and it will help you all throughout the way. Second of all, a family oriented motorcycle, as because it's got a flat seat, and let's just say the seat is comfortable enough. The seat size could have been a bit larger, that much I agree with, because when touring with a pillion, you will feel the need of a backrest. Third of all, the engine. The engine has excellent performance in the low and the mid range, and in the top end it needs a bit more punch, is what I feel. 6th gear could have helped in that particular proposition. Another thing that I like is the suspensions, the USDs, the monoshock in the rear. So all while I was talking about the good things about this motorcycle, now let's talk about the things that are not so good about this motorcycle. First and foremost of them being the pathetic nature of the TVS service and the ill-trained technicians. So most of the times you go to a service center expecting this bike to be serviced well, and it's just not. So TVS does need to train its technicians, improve parts availability, and also need to work on the behavior of the service employees, because most of the times it will seem like they are doing you a favor while taking this motorcycle in, and it will make you feel not so good about yourself or this purchase, because when we buy a bike, we also buy its service network. Like when we go around, like so let's say we are shifting from our current city to a different city, the thing that will help keep this motorcycle going is the service, and the service is not up to the mark. So TVS does need to improve that, because I myself have faced very poor experiences with the TVS service. When I gave this bike for this first service, I had taken it to a dealer in Kolkata, and let's just say after the first service I was thinking about selling this particular motorcycle. So it is that bad. TVS needs to work upon the service network, the service reach, the parts availability, and also does need to train its mechanics, because most of them do not know the head and tail of how to figure this motorcycle out, and then when things go wrong, we do blame TVS for it. But another thing, while I have to say the service nature of the motorcycle is poor, but the warranty support of this motorcycle is amazing. Like, people have their whole chassis replaced out of warranty. We have had multiple gear changes. Like, there was a particular, some electrical failures of this motorcycle was observed. Like, the headlight of this particular motorcycle used to turn blue. There was some sensor issues. The gear and the side sensor used to malfunction. Those were all taken care of under warranty. There was a frame failure. The chassis was changed under warranty. So TVS's warranty is excellent. The upper management of the TVS is, while they perform excellently, the service does need to improve by leaps and bounds if it aims to compete with the other bigger brands in the market. Another thing that I don't like about this current motorcycle is the huge turning radius. Like, when you want to take a sharp U-turn, you cannot, because you will feel it locking, and you will have to take that huge roundabout way. So that will be a bit difficult when you are in tight intersections, or let's say mountain roads. So the turning radius maybe could have been a bit sharper, or you know, something could have been done about it. Also, another thing that I don't like about this motorcycle is the lack of refinement in the top end. Like, this motorcycle, let's just say very bluntly, has some vibrations, or buzz, as we would like to call it. There is some buzz in the 5000 RPM mark. There is some buzz when you are crossing or nearing 8000. You will feel it in the handlebar, you will feel some in the tank and in the pegs. This is because I think this is the nature of the engine. It is not meant for high speeds. You can do 90, 105 all day, but you have to temper your expectations regarding what you are getting when you buy this motorcycle. Not for high speeds, but still a 6th gear could have helped in this motorcycle. Rest dislikes, I won't say I have any. There are some personal nitpicking that probably if I have to improve, I would have improved, which I have. I will put this dash in the center. I will give this a 19-inch wheel, and I will, make the suspensions a bit taller. So these are all things, modifications that I've thought of. And to quickly sum it up, very good beginner friendly motorcycle, family centric motorcycle, a good all purpose single bike garage, can commute, tour, off-road, whatever you throw at it, it will accept with grace. Has good braking. Brakes, the rear brake could have been improved a bit, that much is true. Handling on the highways is okay, handling on the mountains is excellent. Mileage is excellent, but though it varies. In the higher speeds, you will get low mileage. In the lower speed, or the 60, 70, 80 range, you will get more than enough mileage to satisfy its 14-liter full capacity. I will be not talking about the specs, as because you can check those in the Google. I will only talk about what the experience that I have faced. And in my 70,000 kilometers of experience, I've only faced failures like reliability issues in the very fag end of my 70,000 mark. There was some issues with the engine. That was, again, that was due to the service error. The TVS service center, which I used to frequent, installed a part of the engine incorrectly, which led to multiple engine parts failure. Taken care of under warranty, no doubt, but again, this brings to my earlier point. TVS does need to train its technicians more. Now for the quick overview, let's get on the road, and I will tell you my final opinion, what I feel about this, like what is my experience. These are the things that I was talking about in general, but what is my experience? So let's get on the road.